Hi Sparkles of Light, this is Cherry Enchantress, and this is your daily dust for Thursday, February 22nd, if you're watching in real time, but it can also be for whenever you stumble upon it. You can use it as a timeless reading, to answer a question, to get a message, whenever the law of attraction guides you to this reading, even if it's a random thing. So I have used a Rider-Waite Smith type deck, and this one is now the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot. And it comes in a little tin, or you can get it in a tin. And I'm not big into, the white borders, but this one's really nice, and there would be no way to really cut it, so I have to work with it. Anyway, it is definitely radiant. It's very bright, easy to read, and easy to look at. I'm going to get 3 cards from the middle for a collective message. Let's see what we get. Oh no, the tower, but I did have a tower epiphany. What was this? Something about, okay. All right, let's get 2 more. The Page of Pentacles, nice. And the Magician, really good. So the tower's not you. The tower, okay, so when I was thinking, like, what would I do for a tower card if I made a tarot deck? And I thought of Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up a hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came running after. But I was thinking of the crown broken. I was thinking of people in high places can have their world come tumbling down. Especially, this is kind of like the karma, the justice. So yesterday we had justice. I think justice keeps coming out, and a lot of us wonder, like, what does the justice mean when we don't put out the right energy? And I think the tower kind of gives sort of an example. But let's zoom on in, and I'll tell you what is this tower that's around you. So have you ever heard the expression, he or she got knocked off her high horse, I feel like that just represents an arrogance or hubris, somebody who feels like they're more deserving than others in a certain place or area or position. And not only just, all of us go through that a little bit, where it's like, well, I should have had that or whatever. This is something completely different. This is like all of the negative cards coming into one, and it backfires on a person. So it's the lying and the cheating to get to the top, to be, to show that you're better than everyone. So it's kind of like the 5 of Swords. You had the hollow victory. So that's a clue right there. Just because you had the victory, the hollow victory, or this person had a hollow victory, doesn't mean that it's sustainable. It'll come back and catch up with them. Or the 7 of Swords, the deception. Like, if it's a serious deception, if it's really lying, and the lie really harms the people around them, it's going to come back to them. And that's where the I'm like blinking for a second. That is where the Justice card comes into, and the Wheel of Fortune. So those 2 cards are about kind of a fate and destiny, or what you put out, you get back. And because you're my sparkles of light, this is not you. I feel like this is something that you're watching, and it can be a little upsetting if it's somebody you know and care about, but I think it's mostly somebody that you don't, that's not actually that close to you. And it almost gives you a sense of relief in a way, like, well, justice did come for them. Karma did come for them, because we go day by day, we see people do bad things, and we wonder, are they ever going to atone for that? Are they ever going to have justice come to them? Are they ever going to face accountability? So this is somebody that you know, but maybe not too well, just kind of know on the peripheral, that's facing accountability today for deeds. I think it has to do with deeds. Like sometimes, sure, the tower kind of can happen to people who it doesn't seem like they deserve it. It happens to us. We don't feel like we deserve it. And in those cases, I feel like that's just a perception kind of thing. Like you have to take the moment for what it is and see big picture. But I really felt like this epiphany that I had the other day, and these falling people. And it's interesting that we're having a traditional tower come out. I saw this crown on somebody and the crown being knocked off, and then I thought that's how I would draw my tower. I would draw somehow a crown coming off. You know, it wasn't rightly theirs to begin with. You know, they put themselves in a position that they didn't deserve to be in, or something like that. So that's what I'm seeing here. It's almost like, it's also kind of gives me like, it gives me, not supernatural, but natural energy. Like the earth and the weather responds to negative energy. The weather responds back by weather that's destructive, like tornadoes and hurricanes and earthquakes and fires and things like that. So this, in a big global way, this could also be, it's important for all of us to not have wars and to get along and to have a camaraderie and a unity and a oneness, and treat the earth kindly so that the earth doesn't retaliate in a natural way. That's a very non-scientific way of looking at global warming, but anyway, but yeah, it's this cause and effect thing again that's coming out. Cause and effect. I don't know if I said that in my daily dust or it was a private reading, but I felt a cause and effect energy last night when I was doing readings. So the Page of Pentacles and the Magician is really good news, and I feel like, and literally it could be good news. The Page of Pentacles represents money coming to you. So this could just definitely be like, haha, they were caught in the act and you get your money back. It's like, no, they're being greedy, and you get, and it's like you saw it all along. Like you are the manifester. You manifested this. It's not like you manifested purposely a tower moment for someone else. That's all they're doing anyway. They created it for themselves. You manifested the best possible outcome for yourself, and part of the outcome had to be a lesson for this person. So I think that's a really good thing. The Page of Pentacles could be other things too, like gifts and proposals and things like that. It's a youthful energy. It's student. It's application of something that you learned, like physically applying something. It's also could be news, somebody bringing you news or information or messages or reaching out. And it is also like represents management too, in a sense. It could represent a young person managing. So it could be another thing. It's like somebody got into a position here that they didn't deserve, and maybe you deserved it, or this younger person deserved it, but he was discriminated against because of his youth. Like there was ageism here, but he was actually the more experienced or the most qualified because of all of his abilities, something like that. And I think it just turns out for the best in the end. It's like the magician put in that magic spell to make this happen. The magician also represents skill. It could be, and it's not just magical skill. It's not just non-material. It's dealing with your tools at hand too, like the physical tools at hand and your higher awareness and your abilities to spiritually attract and visualize. So there could also be like a very diplomatic person, or your way of speaking is very diplomatic. And so it feels very much like, it feels like in a negative, the magician can be sort of seen as manipulating, but I don't see it that way in this case. I see it as using the tools at hand for the best possible outcome. You're the kind of person that whenever you make an intention, you say, for the good of all with harm to none, so be it. So let the universe decide, because the universe has the higher hand here, the higher power. And the universe decided that somebody in the peripheral had to learn that you can't do things by, these kinds of means, these ways, because you just fall back down. The tower is 16. I'm born on the 16th, and I learned a lot about the tower when I was younger, growing up. And for me, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, because I was always scared to reach the top of anything, to become famous, or to become powerful or whatever, because of the 16 energy. Maybe it will knock me back down. But I feel that it's not about what you do, it's about your pride or your hubris, like you're feeling like you should get it no matter what. But people should earn it, people should work for it to get it. And that's kind of how this turns out. So yeah, so good for you, and not so good for somebody else, but I think good for them too, because they really, sometimes people don't understand until they have a moment that shakes them up and helps them see for themselves what's going on. All right, so faith, trust, and pixie dust.